afternoon to one and all. Thank you, folks, so very much. All our friends who frequent this program and make it a point of duty to tune in and become up to speed with what is happening in our city, in our country, in our neck of the woods. Good to have you. I look forward to this just about every day. God gives me life and breath in my body to be able to fulfill this role and this responsibility. And I, really cherish it because at least there is something to learn every day when it comes to what is being discussed here on this program. With that said, let me turn my attention to those who can make use of some information as to how to get to this program if you're not listening to a radio, because of course that is also necessary. You can go to tvcarib.com. Just type that in your Google browser and it comes right up. When it opens, it asks a question if you want to listen live, and you just hit the button and it takes you right to this program. Or you can use my website as well. What is it? cmorejournal.com. That is the letter C, MOOREJOURNAL.com. And when the page opens, there's a banner right at the top. You just click on it and you're able to see the faces. Like I would always say, that is behind the conversation that is being had on this, your radio station, 102.7, 1300 AM. Yes, we're simulcasting. So there you have it. All the information you need to be able to log in. And special good afternoon to the folks in Europe who make it a point of duty to check in on a regular basis, wanting to know what's happening back home. All right, I'm pleased to have today, this is the holiday season and lots of thoughts and comments about giving and the Christmas holidays and you name it. Well, I do have here with me today the ambassador to the international organization on behalf of the Network for Latin America and the Caribbean organizations on old age. And I'm just fitting you in based on the nature of the conversation, but we all know him to be the one who is fighting for the seniors on this island, because he's head of the old age, what's it, Mr. Jessurun? The Senior Citizens Foundation. That's correct. Association. So him is the one that will be engaged in the conversation today. And it all has to do with a 3-day meeting or a conference that has been set up. Let's find out what's behind this, who are going to participate in it, and what's the reason for it. And probably find out the topics that would be discussed as well. I could almost believe that somewhere in there, and I'm stepping on a very brittle limb right now when I say I'm almost sure that poverty and the state of affairs of seniors are going to be the main issue here. Good afternoon, Mr. Jessurun. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. Thank you for the invitation to update on what is cooking and what will be of interest for your radio listeners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as far as the conference, we can jump into that at any moment. But you still have to, let's say all politics are local. And here is where you're best known for the contribution you make regarding seniors. But this is the Christmas holidays, and I wonder how does it look for the seniors of this country, really enjoying some time when they should be really enjoying life a little bit. How does it look for us approaching this holiday season?
Well, let's put it again this way. With the cost of living and everything in this season jacked up higher in prices, even for what you have to buy to have a Merry Christmas, seniors have not been getting that luxury to have enough income to address it. Even when they got the bonus from this year, every time the senior citizens getting the 13th month of the old age pension.
Goes right back.
Poverty pension. Yes, you got twice the amount this time, but it doesn't even
Fill the gap. Eh?
fill the gaps that we have every month. So that's one part of the story. The other part of the story is what is the hope that we have received this year before end of the year, so that you can say, well, we have a Merry Christmas. I said already in an earlier program with you, how can you congratulate us with a senior's day, an older person's day, and tell us happy older person's day? We want to be happy the 365 days of the year, and that problem is not what you hear when you listen to people, the older persons. They're all complaining about their situation, the healthcare situation, how they are being treated, the housing situation, not enough funds to assist them with whatever repairs they still have to do, or their income situation with high cost of living every day. Even when we listen sometimes to your program and you have callers that call in, we can hear how they just say the truth. Yeah, it is very difficult for seniors with their old age pension to have a decent living.
But not just the old age pension, they complain a lot about what is being done to help them when it comes to certain things that are happening in the community.
Yeah.
Health-wise, community-wise, they're just not cared for. And I don't know if cared for is the right word, but policies and things put in place to make life a lot easier for the seniors.
So, well, let's look at what happened this year. The Ministry of VSR organized a 2-day conference for people that they have invited. It was not for the whole public, where they wanted to discuss and they wanted the participation of the people to look at how we are aging in St. Maarten and if we are aging in dignity. Well, we have commented on this already. You always say the intent to provide a platform for people to come together and discuss. When it is about aging, it's not only older persons, it's also the younger generation.
Yes.
So what was the attention given to them, and what were the requests of them that the Ministry of VSR could take home to make it policy or to make it better, to improve the situation for the people that are becoming older in our society? And as we always say, older persons, when they tell you what is the situation that they end up in, the younger people have to say, do I want to end up in the same situation, or will I stand up today? Now, we have been advocating to do that together. Stand up for our rights. And that rights approach has not been implemented yet. That is actually our main problem.
Okay. And as far as this 3-day meeting is concerned, what is it for us to benefit from it? I mean, you're having this discussion, of course. And by the way, who are the countries that's going to be a part of this, or this is purely for us?
It's a good question. It is an invitation that was provided by the network of international organizations on aging and old age from Latin America and the Caribbean, of which I happen to be the ambassador towards international organizations, from the United Nations, the Pan American Health Organization, you name it, World Health Organization. And the issue was, let's have a meeting of all our affiliated organizations. That meeting is being organized in Quito, Ecuador, next week, from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that is because of the observation of International Human Rights Day,
Oh,
the 10th of December every year. There is this annual observation. And the idea behind it was to see, okay, when we talk human rights,
yes.
we talk about the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the reason for that day to be commemorated. And then we say, okay, let's look at what is the realization of those rights
Yes.
that we have from since birth. Now that we are older, is this what we have perceived during our lifetime?
And are we benefiting from it?
Are we benefiting from it?
Yes.
And is this what is the future for our children, grandchildren? So the idea is to reflect throughout the region. And so we have participants invited from the 19 countries that we have affiliated in the network with a national coordinator. And they all have been provided with the opportunity to decide if they can come to Ecuador.
Okay.
The government of Ecuador has provided partial funding for all the visitors that come from abroad.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have even provided us with the parliament in facilities for us
this
to have the
discussion.
meeting there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that means that by getting this attention from a government of the region, other governments will be hearing about it,
Yeah.
will be seeing of it, and all of that. So that's one very positive thing.
Yeah.
Because then what is there in it for we here in St.Maarten?
Yeah.
As a representative of also the
Part of the
national
Caribbean
coordinators
region too.
and the Caribbean region, but
Yes.
also from Latin America and the Caribbean, being the ambassador. We were involved in the coordination and the organization of this event, but I also will have the privilege to speak, and especially on the Human Rights Day, that is the 10th of this year. And the question that has been asked for me to address, we can go into more detail of that, but is what about the protection that seniors, older persons, and people that are on their way to become older persons need to have their rights protected?
Let me ask you about whether or not you are able to say, based on Latin America and the Caribbean, can you put finger on one or two of the nations in the region that you'll have to say they put a lot of emphasis on caring for seniors and the older persons?
I'm sorry to say that all the governments of the region, all, when we ask the local representatives, the national representatives, okay, what is the human rights situation of our seniors and the people that are aging in your
Community.
country?
Yes.
All of them say none of the agreements that internationally have been signed by these states,
Same country or states.
these countries,
Yes.
the government is not protecting it sufficiently. The people that the business community or whoever else in the society also are not respecting those rights in those communities. So we still need to fight to get this thing right.
Yeah.
All countries in the region. When you say, okay, who is doing it better than all? We use the statistics from the Economic Committee for Latin America and the Caribbean, and they show us that the majority of the seniors, older persons in Latin America and the Caribbean, they are in poverty. So who is really respecting the right to an adequate standard of living of these people? And when we say it's the seniors, what about their children and grandchildren? Even those statistics show us that poverty is widespread in our region. So when we then talk about St. Maarten, which is also a country, we have to ask ourselves, but wait, we have a northern side and we have a southern side, right? The St.Maarten southern side is a country. The northern side is a territory of France. And there we see that the poverty is being addressed with state policies that we don't see on the southern side. We see a big difference between what France is doing and what the Netherlands and what our own government is doing. So with that said, we see a bottom line in our analysis. If you respect my dignity, then how is it possible that you keep me in poverty? Because a person in poverty does not have a dignified life. So the theme of this whole meeting is about what and how can we achieve dignity for all the people that are becoming older and for the older persons now, because we don't have time to wait. So many have passed already this year. Mr. Moore, 2 weeks ago, I lost a sister, also older person. So we can't wait. We want it now. And the younger ones that are coming and becoming of age, they also would like to know when they become older, will they get these promises that were made from since 1948 in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights?
So, I mean, sufficiency for the older people, you're saying, it's a human right. It's a human right as far as citizens are concerned.
Yes,
they should be cared for and treated like they are part of the community.
An older person is a human being. All human beings, without discrimination, have a right.
Yes.
To what? To an adequate standard of living. That's Article 25 in the Universal Declaration on Human Rights.
Okay.
What is adequate? Poverty is not adequate. That is inadequate.
Yeah.
So as long as people complain that they can't make the ends meet, that the quality of the health care that they need is substandard,
the system is holding them in poverty,
that it is not still the same as, for instance, elsewhere, then the idea of what is dignity? You don't keep me in dignity by keeping me in poverty. You don't taking me out of poverty and bringing me into dignity. So the whole concept of how can we achieve this now, that is what all of us from the region will be discussing
and discuss
the coming 3 days in Quito, Ecuador, and where you can say this is historic. Because Quito, Ecuador, as you know, Quito is placed on the equator. The equator, that is the imaginary line of our Earth, where we can see that, for instance, even nature is respecting this line. And where you can see this is the northern half of the Earth, and this is the southern half of the Earth, and where we will be standing in that situation, looking at the northern side of the Earth and the southern side of the Earth, and that you will say, wait a moment, how is the situation of the seniors on the northern side and on the southern side of the Earth? And when we say northern side, you think of Europe, you think of the United States, and you see that a lot of people from Latin America, Caribbean, Africa, they go to the northern half of the world. Why? Because of the living standard being higher there and much more possibilities for them there than what we have in our southern half of the world.
And it happens so that Quito, you say it is?
As the capital of Ecuador.
Yeah, happens to be the capital of Ecuador, which sits right in the middle of that partition
on
north and south.
On the half, yes. So the idea of reflecting there together, and what can we do now to achieve dignity for all. When we say dignity for all, it's not only for older persons. For older persons, we want it for sure now because we can't wait. But it is also for
the young.
children, grandchildren.
Because they're getting old too.
Yes. And they have the right to be already treated in dignity.
Let me ask you quickly, what would be your topic when you are called on to address the gathering?
Well,
What are you going
I
to be
have
speaking
been
about?
asked to talk about how can we achieve more protection for the rights of older persons. So when you have now the rights in all these international treaties, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, how can we get protection for it and better protection for it? So then in Latin America and whole Americas, 10 years ago, the Organization of American States adopted the Inter-American Convention to protect the rights of older persons. And when laws of legislation in a country does not protect it sufficiently, any citizen can use this Inter-American Convention because
take a
it is
government to
ratified
court.
to take government to court or to take people to court that are violating your
The human
rights.
Yes.
There is no international convention yet to protect the rights of older persons. But this was already requested from since 2015 that I addressed, that I attended a meeting of Latin American Caribbean countries and governments, and where as civil society organizations we said we want an international covenant to protect those rights. For women, there came an international covenant to protect their rights. For children, there came an international treaty to protect their rights. So we said for migrants, for workers, for older persons, we also want that we have more protection. That's a legal instrument.
And as an ambassador for this region, you are to the United Nations.
Yes.
Do you ever be called on to report to the United Nations any progress or the lack of it?
So what we see here, the regional meetings that are being held by the committees of the United Nations for Latin America and the Caribbean, we are being invited and have to participate. And usually the network is delegating my person to be there. And we do then the lobbying work with the representatives of the governments.
Yeah.
And if I tell you that since 2015 we are trying to get the international convention for, I tell you, it's 10 years. And we get the Inter-American Convention after a lot of lobbying. Since 2002 we were lobbying for this. It is only in its place that we get this international, because this is now typically for St.Maarten and the Caribbean part of the Netherlands, but also for the French islands from the French Republic. We are not covered by the Inter-American Convention for the rights of older persons.
Okay.
Because we are not independent states.
Yeah.
But then, being part of European states,
Why shouldn't we?
Inter-American is not European. So we need an international protection by such an international treaty so that we can appeal to that when our local legislation, when our national legislations that the Europeans put up for us at the end of the day are not being respected.
All right, let me take a break quickly. Oh, this is quite interesting. And it just so happened that you are a resident of St.Maarten to the point where you are occupying such an important function. And that tells me that we should be leading the way as far as that is concerned. Anyhow, let me take a break quickly, folks. I'm here with Mr. Raymond Jessurun, who is my guest for today. He is planning on holding. There is going to be a meeting, of course, for the older persons and the whole 9 yards behind it. He will explain further what needs to be done, but I need to take a break at this point, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Welcome back, folks, to our conversation with Dr. Raymond Jessurun, who is here on behalf of let's see, he's the ambassador to the International Organization on Human Rights, and I'm a little bit mixed up there because my notes is all screwed up. But in any case, as an ambassador, I wanted to act as an ambassador to the United Nations for Latin America and the Caribbean. If we shouldn't be in a place where we either have an advantage or is setting the kind of example, or it's because you're an ambassador because it's that bad in our region. And you mentioned a little bit earlier as well that because we are part of a European setting, we fit right into those persons who are responsible for signing on to make these human rights issues taken care of, which means as well that we should be in a better place. But that's not the case, is it?
Right. It's good that you ask, and also that for our people to understand the explanations, right? An ambassador is usually someone that has been assigned by a state to represent the people of that state and the government of that state.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a function that I got, and I was chosen to do it, to represent not the government, not the state, but organizations from different states from Latin America and the Caribbean who are dealing with aging and old age issues. And with that said, my function is to deal with all governments of the region on behalf of this network. And we have been recognized by international agencies for the last 20 years already, because it is already since 2002, after the Madrid plan of action on aging was announced, that we have been actively coming together and providing our input into these regional meetings from governments as civil society organizations. And the United Nations has as a policy that they want participation. And we have always been advocating for participation, where we say, we don't only want you to let us talk, we want you to listen. Because so many times we have been seeing that people speak on behalf of what is the sentiment of our people.
Yeah.
Even governments say that they talk for the people, but they are not doing what they're supposed to do.
But doesn't that mean that we should have some type of advantage?
So this is an advantage and a privilege, because if I look at it, St.Maarten was not on the map. A St.Maartener to talk on behalf of all these organizations, I call it a divine appointment. That I have this privilege to do that. At the same time, it is a responsibility that is heavy, is loaded, because you must know your stuff. You must know your right. You must know what are the differences, how these governments are looking at things, what are their problems, for you to say, okay, how can we advance? So this whole lobbying work is part of the job.
But something else, Mr. Jessurun. You mentioned that St.Maarten probably wasn't even on the map. I know that in the Netherlands there are some people who still don't have a clue of the existence of this part of the kingdom. But the sovereign state of the Kingdom of the Netherlands is known the world over. And in Europe, they are known to be one of the richer or the richest countries in Europe. So if we are part of that, again, might sound a little redundant, but shouldn't we have an advantage as far as human rights?
It's a very big advantage because each time that we speak, we can explain that even though the Netherlands is being portrayed as the human rights defenders in the world, they were the first to adopt legislation to protect same-sex marriages in the world.
Yes.
Everybody pointing to the Netherlands
as a human right, by the way.
They as a human right
Yeah.
that we say, but they discriminate us in their own front yard. I don't want to call it their backyard because that is how they talk in the Netherlands. No, this is not their backyard. That is their front yard, because it's from here that they want to showcase to Latin America and the Caribbean, we want to do business with you, we want to assist you, we want to do whatever you want, we are there for you. But when we tell them that they are treating us unequal, that they are not treating us with the same measure as they do in the Netherlands, they couldn't believe, because the French are almost doing it. Next to us here we have Anguilla. They're almost being treated the same as in England, but there's still differences.
Yes.
That we can say that is actually still discriminatory. So when we explain that human right is there for each and every one and should be there to be treated equal, we say, but that's not what the Dutch preach. And the Dutch are one of the founding members of the United Nations.
See?
The Declaration for Human Rights, the Dutch were part of that declaration in adopting it, but they don't adhere to it. So when we tell them this, they thought differently because the Dutch portray themselves differently. But when we bring this up, this is our privilege. We are being chosen, and they were seeing us as people from the Caribbean and all of that, and they didn't know that we are being treated unequal and that we are being discriminated against.
Yeah.
And that we are in the same predicament as most of the other countries when we talk about poverty and an inadequate standard of living, our healthcare not being up to par, our housing situation not being up to par. So all of these things that we experience, when we bring them, they identify, hey, we have the same kind of problems, and we all, with the knowledge that we have, can explain that this is now a consequence of colonialism that we all have been experiencing in the region.
Yeah.
Be it from Spain, be it from Holland, be it from France, be it from England.
Yes.
So we show them this, and that actually we have to unite to get our right. Because why is it that the human rights should be equal for everybody, but then every state can make things different within that state? So we are one of those that are saying, why shouldn't we change the paradigm?
Yeah.
If we say everybody should be treated equal, and we look at the northern half of the earth, and we see what they do in Europe and in the United States, why is it that the people in Latin America and the Caribbean cannot live on that same standard? Why isn't there a flow of what we call reparation going down for us to live at the same standard? That is an adequate standard of living. So we can bring this up, and then they say, yeah, but now the law and the legislation and the treaties are defined this way. That is up to every state to do their thing. Now we, in this privileged situation, can show you. But the state of the Netherlands is not doing its own thing for us to be treated equal.
Yeah.
So let's ask for everybody to define what is adequate. if in the North this is adequate,
Then it should be adequate.
and
in
our
the-
people going there to get it, we all can move to the European or to the American state to get an adequate living.
Yeah.
So bring it down.
Yeah.
Make it more equal for us.
Out of this discussion, when it's finished, any of the findings or anything would be documented to be forwarded to any higher body when it's time to discuss the older persons.
Yes, sure. The idea of the meeting is to come up with a political declaration
Okay.
where, because of the participation that is there, everybody can have a look into a draft that is already being prepared by the network, of which I had the privilege to coordinate
Oh, you were part of it.
preparation of that, yes. But it's also for them to provide their 2 cents and then to make it something of the whole meeting. That political declaration, of course, is first and foremost to encourage all the affiliated organizations. So this is what we have in common. This is what we have decided in common. This is what we want to do in common together. And then we go to the governments of the region. And of course, also for the United Nations. I can also tell you that one of the things that we will be doing is provide the meeting with a draft that we have been or Dutch Caribbean part of the kingdom.
Okay.
When we present this to all the others of the region, we will ask them for their solidarity. With their signatures of solidarity, that will strengthen all our own organizations in demanding that we should be respected to get an equal treatment in the kingdom
Okay.
for our old age pensions, for our healthcare, and so on.
So you think this is there's a hope for a senior listening that as much as we are not at this moment experiencing the kind of improved living that we really should, things may change eventually, you think?
I think with international attention
Yes.
and international solidarity, the Dutch will be held accountable. And it was in September already that one of the United Nations committees on economic, social, and cultural rights had its meeting, where the Netherlands had to answer for a lot of things that were exposed by especially the Bonaire Human Rights Organization.
Oh, yeah. They have been on their trail
They were
for the
there.
longest while.
And they have been addressing this.
Okay.
And what I say with this is that either you come from Bonaire or you come from Curaçao or you come from St.Maarten, from whenever you come, Dutch Caribbean part of the kingdom, we're not being treated equal.
Yeah.
And that is against our right not to be discriminated against. So with that said, this opportunity will provide us with a next platform and also a next worldwide attention to this is not right.
Yeah.
So you can have a king going all over the world with a print with a queen of Argentina, Latin American.
Yeah.
The thing is, we are not being treated as they are being treated in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
We want it.
Yeah.
Not even in Argentina, the people are being treated as in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So this is what we are going to use to show that it can be different.
Yeah.
And so it's not only bring them here to smile, bring them here to talk and to walk the talk.
Yeah. How come though they were willing to give voice to and make a stand for same-sex marriage that they consider is a human right, and they talk about because it's a human right in the Netherlands and or more considered in the Netherlands, it should be the same way in the Caribbean.
Well, again, this is an evolution, a development of what is non-discrimination. And then sexual orientation has been used as one of the ways to discriminate people and not giving them the same treatment. So based on human right, yeah, you have to do it right. You have to do it this way. Based on God's right, the question is, are we respecting man and woman?
Yeah.
And whatever the things that in the world has been codified, what does the Bible say? How are we going about that? That is a decision that is personal for everybody to take.
Yeah. I only bring that up because it can appear to some people that it has been forced on us when they are saying that it should be recognized throughout the kingdom, but the poverty aspect and the human right aspect for the elder person is not getting the same treatment or not being said that it should be the same way it is in the Netherlands.
I bring it in the broader context. People with a disablement are being discriminated. People with any other difference at a certain moment are experiencing that they are not being treated equal. We are being experiencing, because of our ethnic composition, racial discrimination. So all these kind of unequal treatments, for whatever reason, we have to address them.
It looks
that is
two-faced.
human right.
Yeah.
That's one. Now the second part of it is this. If you could be the first in the world to provide people with a right or same-sex marriage, when do you become the first in the world to provide us with an equal standard of living?
That's a nice way to wrap it up.
That is where we advocate for equal treatment. It's about time.
Success as far as this meeting that will be held in Ecuador.
Yes.
And I know you will do your part when it comes to what is expected of you. But whatever you bring back in terms of successes, I would love to hear how did it go? How did the meeting go? You call it something else. It's like
it's a regional meeting.
Regional meeting.
The idea is that the whole world, but especially our region, the people from the region, that they get the message of this is what has united us here, and with International Human Rights Day to be observed.
Yes.
No better day.
December. For them to recognize human rights of all people.
Exactly.
All right. Dr. Raymond Jessurun, that's how we're going to end it for today. Wish you success in that deliberation, and hopefully the objectives of that meeting will be met. That's it for today, folks. I want to thank Mr. Jessurun for coming in and sharing that with us. It was a lot to get your mind around, but sure is part of what the development of our countries and people is all about moving forward. Over to the newsroom we go. Thank you so very much for joining us. Come back and join us again tomorrow. Bye-bye.